Hi, myself C. Krishna Reddy. I am faculty of ACE Engineering Academy of Electrical Engineering branch. Now, let us discuss the solutions for GATE 2021 Power System subject. Now, let us observe this problem. So, he has given two buses, bus 1 and bus 2, which are having a mutual impedance between the lines Zm of 0.5J, and let us observe this question. So, if you observe this question, here he has given in the figure shown the self impedances of the two transmission lines are 1.5J per unit and mutual impedance given as 0.5J per unit. The bus voltages are given as E at an angle delta and V at an angle 0. Now, he is asking to calculate the maximum power that can be transferred from bus 1 to bus 2. Now, let us observe the options that are given. So, option A given as EV by 2, option B given as EV, option C given as 2 times EV, option D given as 3 by 2 times of EV. Now, let us find the solution for this problem. Here he has given two lines in parallel. This is bus 1 and this is bus 2. So, the self impedance, or we can write it as self reactance, XS1 given as J 1.5 per unit, and for the second line is also same, XS2 is also J 1.5 per unit, and the mutual impedance between the lines Zm given as J 0.5 per unit. So, for calculation of maximum power transfer between the lines, we need to calculate X equivalent. So, here we can write X equivalent as XS1 into XS2 minus XM square by XS1 plus XS2 minus 2 times XM. Here the self reactance is 1.5 per unit, J 1.5 per unit, and XS2 is also J 1.5 per unit minus XM square minus J 0.5 square by XS1 plus XS2 minus 2XM. So, J 1.5 plus J 1.5 minus 2 into J 0.5. So, if you simplify this, the equivalent reactance X equivalent, we will get it as J1 per unit, J1 per unit. So, once you know the equivalent reactance between the buses, so this is bus 1, E at an angle of delta is the voltage at the bus 1, and equivalent reactance X equivalent is J1 per unit, and bus 2 voltage is given as V at an angle of 0. Now, we can write the power transfer equation. Here power transfer equation P can be written as EV by X equivalent into sin delta. Here he is asking the maximum power transfer. This EV by X equivalent is the maximum power transfer. So, P max is EV by X equivalent. So, the magnitude of this. So, as X equivalent is 1 per unit, so we can write P max as magnitude of E into V. So, the answer is E into V. Now, let us Observe the options that are given. So, option A given as EV by 2, option B given as EV, option C given as 2 times EV, option D given as 3 by 2 times of EV. So, the answer is option B. Now, let us observe this question. He has given two single core power cables have total conductor resistances of 0.7 ohms and 0.5 ohms respectively. So, these two are conductor resistances and their insulation resistances, that is between core and sheet, is 600 mega ohm and 900 mega ohm respectively. 600 mega ohm and 900 mega ohm respectively. When these two cables are joined in series, the ratio of insulation resistance to conductor resistance is, he is asking to calculate the ratio of insulation resistance to conductor resistance when these two cables are joined in series. Now, let us observe here. Underground cable, it consists of conductor or core, we can say it. This is conductor and over the surface of conductor we have insulation. Over the surface of conductor we have insulation. And in the question he has given that there are two single core cables which are joined in series. Now, let us consider this as first cable and let us consider this is second cable. So, the second cable also consists of what? Core as well as insulation over the surface of conductor. Okay. So, here this part is nothing but insulation. Now, over this insulation we have metallic sheet. That sheet will be at ground potential. The sheet will be at ground potential. So, the purpose of the conductor is to carry the current or transfer the power, and the purpose of insulation is to avoid the leakage current. Generally, the conductor resistance will be less, insulation resistance will be high. Now, let us observe the question. Two single core power cables have total conductor resistances of 0.7 ohm and 0.5 ohm. So, here conductor resistances are given as, this conductor resistance is 0.7 ohm and the other one is 0.5 ohm. This conductor resistance is 0.5 ohm. So, this 0.7 ohm and 0.5 ohm are connected in series. These two cables are connected in series. And in the question he also given that the insulation resistances, that is between the core and sheet, given as 600 mega ohm and 900 mega ohm respectively. So, here between the core and sheet, that is nothing but insulation resistance, this is given as 600 mega ohm and here 900 mega ohm respectively. So, this is the given data. Now, first let us calculate equivalent resistance of the conductor and equivalent resistance between the core and the sheet. So, conductor equivalent resistance, conductor equivalent resistance So, if you observe, this 0.7 ohm and 0.5 ohm are connected in series. So, the equivalent resistance is nothing but 0.7 plus 0.5. So, the equivalent conductor resistance will be how much? 1.2 ohms. Now, let us calculate the equivalent insulation resistance. So, if you observe this 600 mega ohms and 900 mega ohms are connected in parallel. Okay. So, equivalent insulation resistance. Equivalent insulation resistance. So, if you observe, these two are in parallel, that is 600 ohm parallel with 900 ohm. So, 600 multiplied with 900 by 600 plus 900. So, if you simplify this, you will get it as 360 mega ohm. 360 mega ohm. So, equivalent conductor resistance is 1.2 ohm and equivalent insulation resistance is 360 mega ohm when they are connected in series. So, now let us observe here what is asking to calculate. What is the ratio of insulation resistance to conductor resistance? So, ratio of insulation resistance to conductor resistance. So, here what is the insulation resistance equivalent? 360 mega ohms. So, this is 360 mega ohms means 10 power 6 by equivalent conductor resistance, here it is 1.2 ohms. 1.2 ohms. So, if you simplify this, here we will get the value as 300 into 10 power. So, the answer is 300. Now, let us observe this question. He has given, suppose IA, IB and IC are the set of unbalanced current phasors in a three-phase system. The phase B zero sequence current IB naught given as 0.1 at an angle of 0. Now, let us write what is the given data. Given IB naught is 0.1 at an angle of 0. 0.1 at an angle of 0. And if the phase A current given as 1.1 at an angle of 0, phase A current given as 1.1 at an angle of 0 degrees in per unit, and the phase C current he has given as 1 at an angle 120 plus 0.1. Phase C current is given as 1 at an angle 120 plus 0.1. All these are in per unit. Then he is asking to calculate the value of IB in per unit, that is phase B current he is asking to calculate. So, what we require here? Phase B current. So, now let us use the concept of symmetrical component. So, by using that concept, symmetrical components, we can express the three phase currents IA, IB, IC in terms of positive, negative and zero sequence component of phase A. IA naught, IA1 and IA2. Using an operator which is known as K, K is nothing but which is having unit magnitude and a phase of 120 degrees. So, here we can write matrix 1 1 1 1 k square k 1 k square. Here k is an operator with a magnitude of 1 and phase of 120 degrees. Now, let us first write the equation for phase A current. IA is equal to, we can write it as what? IA naught plus IA1 plus IA2. Here what are the values given? Phase A current given as 1.1 at an angle 0. This is 1.1 at an angle of 0 degrees. Phase A given as 1.1 at an angle of 0. IB naught given as 0.1. So, here we can make that IB naught is 0.1. So, as we know, all the zero sequence components of currents will be equal. IA naught is equal to IB naught is equal to IC naught. That is how much? 0.1 at an angle of 0 degree. 0.1 at an angle of 0 degrees. Okay. Now, we can substitute IA naught as 0.1 at an angle of 0. 0.1 at an angle of 0. But IA1, IA2 values are not given. Let us find out that. Plus IA1 plus IA2. So, from this equation, can we get the values of IA1 and IA2 or not? So, we can write IA1 plus IA2 as, so take this 0.1 on the other side, 1.1 minus 0.1. So, it will be 1 at an angle of 0 degrees. So, now let us mark this as equation number 1. So, we have formulated by taking the equation for IA. Now, let us take the equation for IC also. Now, let us take the equation for IC. So, IC can be written as what? 1 into IA naught, K into IA1, K square into IA2. So, we can write the value of IC as, IC can be written as what? IA naught plus K times IA1 plus K square times IA2. Here, if you observe the given data, IC given as 1 at an angle 120 plus 0.1, 1 at an angle 120, 1 at an angle 120 plus 0.1 is equal to IA naught is 0.1 at an angle 0, that is 0.1 at an angle of 0 plus here K times IA1 plus K square times of IA2, K times IA1 plus K square times of IA2. So, this 0.1 gets cancelled out. So, we get K times IA1 plus K square times of IA2 as 1 at an angle of 120 degrees, 1 at an angle of 120 degrees. Now, let us take this as equation number 2. Take this as equation number 2. So, we got two equations. One is IA1 plus IA2 is 1 at an angle 0 and the second equation is K into IA1 plus K square into IA2 is 1 at an angle 120. So, we got the first equation, that is Ia1 plus Ia2 is equal to how much? 1 at an angle 0 is equal to 1 at an angle 0. This is from equation number 1. Now let us add these two equations. Now let us add these two equations. So if we add these two equations, here we can write Ia1 is common in these two terms. So we can write Ia1 into 1 plus k and Ia2 into 1 plus k square is equal to 1 at an angle 120 plus 1 at an angle 0. 1 at an angle 120 plus 1 at an angle 0. So, if we observe the operator k is having unit magnitude, k is having magnitude of unity and phase of 120 degrees in anti-clockwise direction, and the result is 1 plus k square will be equal to 0. So from this we can write the value of 1 plus k as minus k square. 1 plus k is equal to minus k square, and 1 plus k square can be written as 1 plus k square can be written as minus. So use this result in this expression. So we can write Ia1 into minus k square plus Ia2 into minus k is equal to 1 at an angle 120, 1 at an angle 120 plus 1 at an angle of 0. So here we can simplify this and write the expression as minus of Ia1 into k square plus Ia2 into k. So here I have taken minus as common. Ia1 into k square plus Ia2 into k is equal to 1 at an angle 120 plus 1 at an angle 0 will be equal to 1 at an angle of 60 degrees is equal to 1 at an angle of. So if you take minus 1 on the other side, we can write Ia1 into k square plus Ia2 into k. Minus on the other side, it can be taken as 1 at an angle of minus 120 degrees. Now we got this result. What is the required value? We need to calculate IB. So the value of IB from this matrix can be written as Ia0 plus k square Ia1 plus k times of Ia2. So the required value is not this expression. We require the value of IB. IB is nothing but Ia0 plus k square Ia1 plus k times of Ia2. So if we observe the given data, Ia0 value is given as 0.1 at an angle of 0. So Ia0 is nothing but 0.1 at an angle of 0 plus this k square plus k square into Ia1 plus k into Ia2 value is 1 at an angle minus 120. 1 at an angle of minus 120 degrees. So we can write the value of IB as 0.1 plus 1 at an angle of minus 120 degrees. So this is the required answer. Now let us observe the options that are given. So First one is 1.1 at an angle 240. It is not the right answer. So now observe the second option, 0.1 at an angle 0 plus 1 at an angle of minus 120. So option B is the right answer. So IB is equal to 1 at an angle of minus 120 plus 0.1 at an angle of 0 degrees. Now let us observe this question. Two generators have cost function of F1 and F2. Their incremental cost characteristics are given. So he has given the incremental fuel cost characteristics dF1 by dP1 and dF2 by dP2. They need to deliver combined load of 260 megawatt. So both the generators has to supply a load of 260 megawatt. Ignoring the network losses, that means transmission line losses are neglected. For economic operation, the generations P1 and P2 in megawatt are. So first, let us try to write the coordinate equation for economic operation when the transmission line losses are neglected. So coordinate equation for economic scheduling when transmission line losses are neglected. So the coordinate equation for economic operation when the transmission line losses are neglected is the incremental fuel cost of all the units must be same, that is dF1 by dP1 must be equal to dF2 by dP2. dF1 by dP1 must be equal to dF1 by dP2 is equal to so on dFn by dPn is equal to lambda, that is cost received. So here we have only two units. So dF1 by dP1 must be equal to dF2 by dP2. So if you observe the question given, dF1 by dP1 given as 40 plus 0.2 P1, 40 plus 0.2 P1 and dF2 by dP2, that is incremental fuel cost of the second unit, given as 32 plus 0.4 P2, 32 plus 0.4 P2. So if you simplify this, we get 0.2 P1, take this 0.4 P2 on the other side, minus 0.4 P2 is equal to, bring that 40 on this side, that is minus 8. So let it be equation number 1. So here we have two unknowns, P1 and P2. So we require two equations. So how do you formulate the second equation? If you observe, they need to deliver a combined load of 260 megawatt. So P1 plus P2 must be equal to 260 megawatt. So P1 plus P2 must be equal to PD. P1 plus P2 must be equal to PD. PD is 260 megawatt. So P1 plus P2 is equal to 260. So you have two equations, equation number 1 and equation number 2. So if we can solve 1 and 2, then we will get the values of P1 and P2. Solve equation 1 and 2. If we can solve equation 1 and 2, we will get P1 as 160 megawatt and P2 as 100 megawatt. So P1 is 160 and P2 is 100 megawatt. Now let us look at the option. P1 is 160 and P2 is 100 megawatt. So answer is option D. Now let us observe this problem. A 3-bus network is shown in the diagram. Consider generators as ideal voltage sources. If rows 1, 2, 3 of the Y bus corresponds to bus 1, 2 and 3 respectively, then Y bus of the network is, he is asking to form the Y bus of this network. So now if you observe, these are the 4 options which are given. Now let us try to find the solution for this problem. So let the node voltage be some V and the current from bus 1 to mid node be some I1, bus 2 to mid node be some I2, and this current is I3, and this current will be, here we know I1, I2 and I3 are entering currents, this is the leaving current. So we can write it as I1 plus I2 plus I3. Now let this be, let that node voltage is V. Now if you apply KCL at that node, mid node, what do you get? Sum of the entering currents must be equal to sum of the leaving currents. So we can write this voltage at bus 1, let it be some E1, bus 2 voltage is equal to E2, bus 3 voltage is equal to E3. Now we can write the equation, that is I1 can be written as E1 minus V by J1, I2 can be written as E2 minus V by J1, I3 can be written as E3 minus V by J1, and this equation for I1 plus I2 plus I3 can be written in terms of V and this reference value, that is V minus 0 by J1. So if you observe, J1 is common in the denominator, we can cancel out. So we will get E1 plus E2 plus E3 minus 3V is equal to V. So we can write this equation as E1 plus E2 plus E3 is equal to 4V. Okay. We can formulate the equation for node voltage, that is V. We can write it as E1 by 4 plus E2 by 4 plus E3 by 4. So once we get this value, now let us try to write the equations for I1, I2 and I3. So I1 can be written as E1 minus V by J. So I1 can be written as E1 minus V by J1. So this is the equation for V. Now let us substitute here. So E1 minus V value is E1 by 4 plus E2 by 4 plus E3 by 4 by J1. Okay. Now if you simplify this, we can write it as what? E1 minus E1 by 4, that is minus 3 by 4, 4E1 minus E1 by 4. So that is 4E1 minus E1 by 4 plus minus into plus minus E2 by 4 minus E3 by 4. J is common in the denominator, 4J. So we can write this is 3 by 4J minus 1 by 4J. Here we get it as E1, and this is E2 minus 1 by 4j E3. So, this is the equation for current I1. This is the equation for current I1. Similarly, we can write the equation for I2 as E2 minus V by J1. Here also we know the value of V as E2 minus E1 by 4 plus E2 by 4 plus E3 by 4 by J. So, if we simplify this, we can write the value of I2 as, that is, minus E1 by 4j plus 3 E2 by 4j minus E3 by 4j. So, this is the equation for I2. Now, let us write the equation for I3. I3 can be written as what? E3 minus V by J1. So, if you simplify this by substituting the value of V, E3 minus, this is E1 by 4 plus E2 by 4 plus E3 by 4 by J1. So, if you simplify this, what do you get? I3 can be written as minus E1 by 4j minus E2 by 4j plus 3 by 4j into E3. So, if you observe here, we got the equation for I1, let it be equation A, and equation for I2, let it be equation B, and we got equation for I3, let it be equation C. Now, we need to form the Y bus. I bus is nothing but Y bus into V bus. So, here we have 3 currents. So, consider the column matrix I1, I2 and I3, and 3 voltages V1, V2 and V3. V1, V2 and V3. So, if you observe here, I1 value will be what? 3 by 4j minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j. So, if you fill this matrix, minus 3 by 4j minus, sorry, it is plus 3 by 4j minus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4j. And if you write the values of I2 equation minus 1 by 4 plus 3 by 4 minus 1 by 4j, minus 1 by 4j plus 3 by 4j and minus 1 by 4j. And if you observe the I3 equation, you can write it as minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j plus 3 by 4. So, we got the Y bus as 3 by 4j minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j 3 by 4j minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j minus 1 by 4j and 3 by 4j. So, this is the Y bus. So 3 by 4. Now let us observe the options that are given in the question. So option A will not be the right answer, option B also is not the right answer. So if you observe minus 3 by 4 plus 1 by 4 minus 1 by 4. But if you observe the answer that we got, here j is in the denominator. So we can write this j in the numerator with a negative sign. If we can write j in the numerator with a negative sign. So y bus can be written as, so if you take the j into the numerator, we can write with a negative sign. So that is minus 3 by 4j, 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, and here what do you get? 1 by 4j minus 3 by 4j, 1 by 4j, and here 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, and this is minus 3 by 4j. So this is the answer for the given question. It is asking to form the y bus. So here the y bus is minus 3 by 4j, 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, minus 3 by 4j, and 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, 1 by 4j, and minus 3 by 4j. So the option is C. So C is the right answer. Now let us observe this question. He has given, consider a power system consisting of n number of buses. Here number of buses given as n. So total number of buses. Number of buses given as n. Buses in this power system are categorized into slack bus, PV bus, and PQ buses. So here slack bus, PV bus, and PQ buses for the load flow study. The number of PQ buses is given as NL. So here number of PQ buses given as NL. One of the bus will be the slack bus. So PV buses, number of PV buses will be how much? Total number of buses are N minus NL minus 1. That will be the number of PV buses. So the balanced Newton-Raphson method is used to carry out the load flow studies in polar form. H, S, M and R are the submatrices of the Jacobian matrix. He has given here. Now he is asking to find the dimension of the submatrix M. So we can write here delta P delta Q is equal to, here he has given the Jacobian matrix as H, S, M, R. H, S, M, R. If you observe del delta and delta, he is asking what will be the size of matrix M. So matrix M, it depends on what? Delta Q and del delta. So what will be the number of Qs? Number of Qs will be how much? NL. Number of deltas will be, total number of buses are N, one of the bus is the slack, N minus 1. Now the size of the matrix M will be NL cross N minus. So if you observe the options, Option A is NL cross N minus 1 plus NL, N minus 1 cross N minus 1 plus NL. Option C is NL cross N minus 1. Option D is N minus 1 cross N minus 1 minus NL. So here the option is C. So the right answer